Hey, everybody, it's Pete Carmasino here with Chaikin Analytics on this week's episode of Halftime here on StockCharts TV. So thanks for joining us. And as usual, what we do is we're going to go over the markets, what's happening today. We're going to pick on a few different stocks that we're going to look at, and some ones in the communications services and equipment area, a couple in healthcare and a couple in specialty retail. And those groups in general have been pretty strong. But let's get to what's happening today. I mean, what isn't happening today? This is, a great rebound after last week's sell-off. We're seeing the NASDAQ, the Russell up both over 1% right now. And energy, one of the bigger gainers as well, after being really beat up last week, starting to mount a nice rebound here, probably an oversold bounce, right? But what's happening today? I don't know. Semis, mega cap internet, investment banks, life insurance, industrial metals, transports, cruise lines, casinos, all of these are seeing great gains today, and including healthcare, a few names in the healthcare and specialty retail areas. And what's on the weak side? Well, the defensives, right? The utilities, the REITs, those names are kind of getting sold off. And we're seeing builders also weak. You're just seeing some demand destruction there. Just in the cycle of new homes and things of that nature, when lumber, skyrocketed in price and now it's down below pre-pandemic levels, you're getting it a pause in not only the ability to build, but prices were so high that demand destruction occurred from the consumer side as well. So we're going to dive right into it. We're going to start on the Chaikin side. We're going to look at some of the names that I've been talking about, for last week. We're going to look at AMN Healthcare and Pfizer on the FDA approval. We can't forget that today. And that actually turned bullish weeks ago, right around $45 a share. So let's go take a look and see what we see. Okay, we are back here on the ACP platform. We got Pfizer up. We got to start with Pfizer. Big news today, FDA approval, of their vaccination for COVID-19 and the variant, hopefully. And what's there to say about this chart? I'm on a weekly here with candlesticks. I mean, this stock, if I go back and look at a really long-term view, I mean, Pfizer's just been growing for quite some time, obviously, but we've never seen these levels on this name, not in the last 10 years anyway. And, with the FDA approval, that's obviously helping. But let's look at the Chaikin PowerGauge. Simply pull that up right there. And what do we have? We got a very bullish rating. And not only do we have a very bullish rating, but financials, technicals, and experts are leading the way. And you might expect that earnings will catch up, which could be a further catalyst. And that's putting, again, not only the technical side, because look at the chart, there's no arguing here from a trend perspective, but looking at the bullish nature of our power gauge as well, which puts the fundamentals on top of the technicals, making this a much more bullish opportunity. But let's go back and go to Chaikin real quick. See my screener there. I was doing a little screener work before I came on. And we pull up Pfizer. And when did we turn bullish? Well, we were negative on the stock. And look what happened. When the relative strength was against us, our power gauge was reading negative for months this year. We see a bit of a pause in the downtrend. It regained, money flow started to come in, and we literally just turned bullish on this in the week of August 9th, that week, right? I think it was on Tuesday, the 10th is when we started to be bullish, right? So we've got positive relative strength, which was one of the things that sort of leads and pushes up us in front of the rating sometimes. Then we have the rating. And now we actually even had a name that was kind of pulling back here before the FDA approval. I guess it was expected and certainly talked about. But the point being here is that the rating got you in $4 or $5 lower, and so did the technicals. But when you have the rating on top of the technicals, it just makes it that much more comfortable, and you get more confidence in the trades that you're putting on. Let's look at a name that we talked about last week, which is AMN Healthcare. And that was a name that had been oversold, had a nice rally and rallying again today, but we got another money flow buy on this name, and we're still oversold. Okay. Which I like, at this level. I mean, when we were looking at this on the 16th, it was right around the same, about $4 or $5 cheaper, but it had rallied back and forth and kind of hopefully breaking these tops here. But if I go back and look at, and I have to move this down to a daily, AMN Healthcare, Even on a weekly, it looks great. But if I move to a daily, you can see, I mean, the trend is just a really strong move on the upside. And so AMN, when you have experts, technicals, and earnings, along with financials, registering a very bullish rating, and the trend is in your favor, you've got a great setup, right? And again, if we look at Pfizer on the daily basis, we can also see that this was, again, on this breakout here, that $41, technically that's a great trade. And then just a few days later, our PowerGauge upgraded to bullish. You're in a great spot. That's what you're looking for, right? That's what you're looking for. So let's look at communication and that particular sector here, telecom equipment. ADTRAN has been a name that's had been, on the bullish side for many weeks, if not months, from the technical perspective. But now we have a bullish rating, and experts and technicals are leading the way on this name. So let's look at ADTN and look at our chart here. We've got an indicator today that's popping up as an oversold buy. And the reason I like that is because it's giving you that timing aspect, not only of the technical trade, but of the fundamental, because the fundamentals have to be in order as well. In other words, they have to be registering at least bullish or better before that particular signal appears. And that's exactly what we have here. And so in this particular group in general, what's nice is if you can pull this industry group in and load it into your ACP platform, you can just run down the list and look at the PowerGauge. And here's a quick preview. I got 11 names that are at least bullish in this name, and one of them is Cisco, right? And I mean, Cisco's been on a tear recently. We've got a momentum breakout on the name, but the relative strength has been strong since really the second week of February. So if I go and look at CSCO, again, there's the rating, there's your technical setup, right? It back in these levels. When this broke this level here, that $46, $47 level, that March area, that's when our relative strength was breaking out. The relative strength was breaking out here. But let's look. We were also bullish on the name, okay? So when you see that happening, when you start to see a name that you're tracking that might go from neutral to neutral plus or bullish, that's a great indication that you've got a good setup, especially if the technicals are leading you there first. Then you click on the PowerGauge and you see, oh, we're bullish as well. All systems are go. You're in a great, great spot right there. So I'm also going to look at specialty retail very quickly before we end the day. And one of the names that came up was Carvana. And I already have Carvana loaded in, and I'm going to pull up the specialty retail area here as well. And then I'm going to go back to Carvana, CVNA, and kind of look at, wow, up a nice move today of over 1.6%, beating the market heavily. So look, we've been bullish. We've been back and forth on the name. Now the rating recently changed, but it's changing again at an oversold level. And that's kind of what we look at as far as a timing perspective. So if I pull up Carvana here, obviously you're seeing the same exact thing. Now you're getting this rating on ACP for, much minimal cost according, compared to our software, but putting this on your system, I mean, is really adding, again, a powerful setup. The technicals were already there, right? And now the fundamentals are catching up because people are starting to see, they're starting to realize this is a true disruptive, innovative company that's really changing the way people are buying cars. I've used it. It's amazing. I thought it was incredible. But again, that whole sector, the specialty retail and retail in general, has been doing great. Let's look at, I'm going to pull up TJ Maxx here. That's another name that's really important. I'm going to show you why. You can see it here on the PowerGauge. It's already bullish. You can see the technical setup here, sort of breaking this, what might be a double top, right? And if I pull up here, TJ Maxx, TJX on our system, see it's already in the list right there. Something is changing here on this name that is something we like to call attention to, and that is what we call a bullish personality change, right? It's happening. It's very early. All right, I'll say that. It's very early in the change, and it's happening right now. We had estimates came out last week. They beat estimates. You've got a strong stock with a strong trend and a strong industry, right? With a bullish power gauge. So that's putting the weight of the evidence in your favor. And so some of the specialty retail names, if I go back to the top of this list, I want to just point something out before I leave. You're seeing a lot of auto related names right here from a parts perspective. You're looking at AutoZone. You've got AutoNation from a dealership perspective. Here's AutoZone, again, from the parts perspective. And you also have Advanced Auto Parts, right, from that perspective as well. And so when you see these setting up, you're starting to see a thematic bullish trend here, not only just in the individual names we talked about, but in the sector itself. And then what else do you see? You see back to school names like Dick's Sporting Goods. It's not only back to school, it's back to sports as well. And so a lot of kids are getting back into the activities that help them stay healthy and produce good character and healthy, disciplined activities. And Dick's is going to benefit from that. Not only back to school. I mean, look, kids are wearing a lot of athletic wear in school. And so you're seeing that play out. And then here's a small name that we had pointed out weeks ago on one of our letters. And, we're seeing Tilly's Specialty Retail really setting up again. It's not quite oversold, but it's been bullish for quite some time with really strong momentum. And if you pull it up here on the ACP platform, obviously you can see the same kind of flagging setup here. So from a technical perspective, you've got a bullish setup and you've got a very bullish power gauge. Again, two powerful setups that you want to keep with you at all times. Okay, so that's our segment this week here on the Halftime Show, Chaikin Analytics on StockCharts TV. This is going to be posted. You'll be able to watch it and replay. It'll be on YouTube as well. So throw a like on there. And if you have any comments, put them on there. I'll answer them personally. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or something else that you want to see, let me know. I'll be happy to, I monitor those comments and I'll be happy to engage in any question and answer that you might have. So again, appreciate you tuning in. Thank you again. We'll be back to you next week. Same time, same channel. Take care.
Hey, Grayson Rose here with StockCharts. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, consider giving it a like down below, maybe leave us a comment, and if you're new to the channel, you can subscribe at the link up above. We're gonna bring you daily content from an incredible collection of technical analysts and financial experts.